so that we've left the angels behind. Because the angels are levels of intellect. But when a person is pure of the emotion, he is pure of his mind, and he goes higher and higher till he comes to a level where he's beyond the angels. The angels are intelligences on a certain level. But when the person has overcome his emotion totally, then the person is capable of reaching the highest intellectual level. When he reaches the highest intellectual level, he's not dealing with an angel. So now we understand what happened with Moses. He started off dealing with the outside world properly. He had to give it its due. He couldn't be just a dictator. He then had to understand himself. It says, "Vaish Moshe onav miyod." Moses was the humblest of all men. He didn't see himself as this big shot whom God speaks to, and the only one that God speaks to. He saw himself as a tool of God in this magnificent world, as a servant of God to assist all the other servants. So he already was raised up high. He could see things. But that allowed him also to raise his level of intellect to the point where he no longer needed an angel to talk to. The first time he sees God on the mountain, an angel talks to him. He hadn't reached that yet, because he hadn't reached emotional perfection yet. But now he reached a level where he understood God, not understood the intermediary levels. Okay? He came to the ultimate level of the intellect, which is God. Maimonides says, God and wisdom are one and the same. Doesn't mean the wisdom of mathematics and physics. That's a nice wisdom, but that's not the wisdom of God. The wisdom of God is far beyond that. He went level upon level upon level of wisdom till he understood the wisdom of the Creator to the limits of the human condition. And that's when he was above an angel. So an angel couldn't speak to him. Okay? That's the third level. What is the fourth level? The fourth level is that when a person is emotionally balanced and nothing stands in his way, and nothing stands in his way intellectually, then he then directs himself, what? He's a happy person. But then he has to be, in order to get prophecy, you have to be a happy person. But then he sees that everything else is worthless and meaningless. And so the more he's into that, the more his body became acclimated to only wanting and being in the godly world. He became an altogether different type of person because this gave him a perspective of what was truly there, and his body didn't want anything else, and he constantly felt drawn, and his body became sanctified, he says, like the angels. What does it mean, sanctified like the angels? That the body didn't want anything physical anymore. When he's on such a high level, there's nothing that he could possibly... What could you give Moses? $1 million? $1 billion? Could you bribe a man like Moses? Is there a woman beautiful enough in the world that could entice him? Is there enough space on the newspapers and the television that could persuade him and give him enough honor so that that would have an influence on him? The answer is no. His clarity of what was true was so great that there was nothing in the world that he desired. And this person could not be married to a woman. because he was totally, completely God's. And so these are the four levels in which Moses was different. And they all follow each other. And it follows the pattern of what we have studied according to Maimonides. The secret to everything is to learn emotional harmony and balance. And Moses, more than anyone else, because Moses went and he went the other way. Moses, more than anyone else, overcame his tendencies. They tell a story. There was a king who had heard about Moses. Moses was the man of God, and that God himself gave Moses the Torah on Mount Sinai. He sent an artist to see Moses and to draw a picture of him. He came back and he had a picture of a man who was hard. He looked like a mafioso, with a scowl. Rarely did he smile. And it bespoke only of power. This could not be Moses. You shall not covet. You shall not desire that which belongs to your neighbor. You shall not tell a lie. Honor your parent. This is not the person who could communicate this effectively. So he killed the artist. The artist must have been not gone and just thought it out. Sent another artist. Same thing. He thought he got the wrong guy. Killed that artist. Sent the third. The third guy came back. The same picture. This time he didn't kill him. Put him in jail. He says, I'm going to see for myself. It's only a story. But the story has a message. And he comes to the desert, and Moses is holding court, and here is a king, and they say this is a king from Hudson Platz. And the king comes and looks at Moses exactly like the artists have rendered. He's killed two men for nothing. He's shocked, and Moses says to him, what do you think? It's a trick to be born a cocker spaniel to be nice. Cocker spaniels are nice. They like to be petted. They don't bark too loud. They're happy to see you. If you're born with traits of a killer and that you control, and do so for God. If you're born with power, control that power, because God said so. And learn to be kind and compassionate as Moses was. That's the message of the Torah. He says that's the trick. That's why Moses was special. Nobody had to or could from being, he was King David. King David couldn't go the other way. He tried, but he remained a man of anger, a man of war. Elijah remained a man of anger and a man of war. Moses went the other way. And in fact, when Moses reverts a little bit back to his old ways, God says, you're going out of balance. You're not for this generation. That's the lesson of Moses.